What's up, guys? Joshua 6 Up Tabletop. New video today, as I look at this army in front of me that you can't see. Doing a video about my first Roman army that I've been collecting. This is kind of a little side hobby that I've been doing alongside my main projects. I promise we're doing some black powder stuff, American War of Independence, and also the Silver Bayonet, along with other weird and wild and interesting things. So thank you to everybody who's been subscribing to the channel. Around 350 subs. So I just do this for fun. So it's nice to see that some people get some things out of my reviews and random obscure videos that I make. So we'll be making a video about the Roman army. Some of these is another shout out to Hat Miniatures. I did a recent video for them for American War of Independence, and they also asked me if I had any other models I wanted to try from their range. So I got some late Roman Cataphracts, and I also got late Roman heavy infantry. They sent it to me free of charge. Obviously I'm not promoting it for them to make any money or anything off of that. It's just I said, yeah, great, let's try the 172 range. I grew up painting a lot of 172 millimeter figures, so we'll take a look at that. One of the rules I'm trying is Alliant or Rampant, and so it's more of a skirmisher game. So that'll be a little bit of a lie when I say collecting an army, more of a skirmisher warband. So I'll get into some of those models that I painted up, going over Alliant Rampant, and I'll show a little bit of Fall of the West. This is an old supplement from the Warhammer Ancients line, and it's really awesome. There's a lot of data, a lot of interesting, inspiring ideas. So just talking about how I painted up some figures, compared them to some Italeri figures, and yeah, this is kind of just a hobby talk with what I got going on. So let's jump into it. Thanks for watching. Okay, talking about Alliant or Rampant. So this will just kind of frame the project. Nice. There was a first edition of this. Never played the first edition. Working on playing the second one. Nice hardcover. So basically, yeah, it's a skirmish game. It says medieval wargaming rules. So it covers the period from the late Roman period, Fall of the West, up through past the Crusades into the medieval era. So it's a skirmisher game, with maybe 40 to 60 figures per side, so that kind of frames the scope of my project. One cool thing about the rules that is worth pointing out is that the game is based around giving orders to units, and depending on the type of unit, they roll on a dice to see what kind of moves and stuff they make, and different units are better at different things. So for instance, here's heavy infantry. To attack, you have to roll 2 dice and roll a 6 or greater. To move, 5 or greater, and they have different armor and different things such as that. So if we look at maybe a different unit like light infantry, their attack is higher. Their attack is 6+, and the move is 5+. So it's the same as that. So infantry is a little bit different, but warrior infantry, a different class. Their move is 6+, and attack is 5+. 12 miles per unit, and there's different rules and such. So that is kind of the basics. Certain units are better at charging, certain units are better at moving, certain units shoot differently. It's nice they have a 24-point war bands. So this is kind of the era that I'm working in, late Roman. They got the German tribes, Goths and Vandals, so this will be something that I'm kind of working on. Huns for sure. I want to get a little war band going. And then late Roman. So this is kind of the start of what I'm working for. Something similar, close to this, within the 24-point range. Some heavy cavalry, light cavalry, infantry, and some archers. So the rules are pretty simple. Some people's reviews say that you can play in an hour to 2 hours, and yeah. So that is kind of the rule set that I'm working with, just for inspiration, I picked up, this is a completely different game, Warhammer Fall of the West, but it's super useful just like for information. It's really kind of amazing what the old books had in terms of talking about the different types of units, the Limitani and Comitensis, the different armies that they had, one of them being like a non-mobile field army that were on the borders, and then there was a field army. And a nice part of this book is that they have some of the old art of the late Roman Empire, some of these old figures, and this is like in the 90s, but some like cool late Roman army inspiration. I mean, one of the periods, there's so many different periods of Rome that are worth wargaming, worth studying, but I just thought like the colorful late Roman shields, it's that mix between antiquity and the Middle Ages, and there's a little bit of the ancient world in there, while moving into the time period of knights. So it talks about the barbarians, different Huns, Goths, Picts, Vandals, and all that kind of stuff. So I mean, this was a good book just to get information. There's in this game there's different rules, different small rules for different units and stuff that I can always incorporate in my little war games. If you played Ancient Battles, they have the different point costs. But yeah, I bought this used, a couple bucks. It's also cool showing the example of a small Roman force. So you can see the centurions and the different lines with the archers, and then they'd have an elite cavalry unit, and then it shows kind of what some of the barbarian hordes would be. So it's just additional supplement to what I've already been working with. All right, looking at Hat, late Roman heavy infantry. This is one of the free kits that I got. 40 infantry. It's like $20 or something. It's pretty cheap. Here's the sprue. I'm not going to go too much into it, but you can see, pretty soft plastic. Spears are pretty soft. A couple different swords, and then some of the javelins and spears that they have here are attached here, but a little warped, but that's okay, because that is not something that I use those for. I have two examples painted up. These are more in line with the box art, with the art of the shields, which primarily kind of one of the reasons why I even wanted to do this project. It's just really interesting to see how the Roman army moved from how the Roman army changed. I'm not a huge Roman historian, but it was super fun painting these up. It's 1/72 scale. They're pretty small, pretty forgivable in detail. These are grouped along with my other infantry in the 3-2-1. So there'll be 12 models in a unit per line rampant rules. See if I can get that sorted out. And so I'll have two bases that have 3 models on them, 2 bases that have 2 models on them, and 2 bases that have 1. So it just makes it easy to move all the troops, and say, you lose 6 troops, you can pull a 3, a 2, and a 1, or you can pull 2 3s, and all that kind of good stuff. Moving on, so that was just one example. I'm happy with the kit. It was cool. It was cool to paint. I mean, it's 1/72 scale. I put effort into it, but I didn't put that much effort into it. These are what I would, in line at rampant, it would classify as heavy infantry. So as you can see, I just think it's cool seeing the shields. It looks way different than the Imperial Roman square shields that we're used to seeing, and the Republic had different shields as well. I based these like this. Poses are good. For some of the spears, and this is just what I have here. This is a roll of copper wire. 20 gauge. It fits perfectly. It's not even straight. I just strained it myself. I mean, in some of them it's not even perfectly straight, but since this will be played, it'll look smaller on the table. Like there's an example of the spear that is made out of the copper wire. I think it fits perfectly, and they really look like late Romans. Moving on, we have the late Roman Cataphracts. Super cool. I mean, it's really interesting just to see, you know, what this heavy elite soldier would have looked like for the Roman army. You know, this is in the late antiquities, so it's like transitioning to what we would associate with a model European knight, but it's not quite there with the plate armor and the horses being heavily armored and stuff. I don't know, it's just super cool. Always piqued my interest. Here's the sprue. There's 3 of these included. I mean, some of the poles you can see are bent here, so I used the copper wire like I did before. Just a little bit of cleanup and a couple decent poses here, one holding it sideways. So yeah, there we are with some of the models. I mean, I think these guys turned out awesome with the lance. Mixed up some of the different colors, tried to kind of go with the blue on the horse hair, kind of what showed in the photo. It's kind of interesting. The lance, I mean, I looked it up. It said, yeah, it could be up to 10 to 12 feet long, which is huge, but that would scale appropriately with the sizes that I cut based on the lances that were provided in the plastic kit. I went with a couple different armor colors, you know, some steel, some in kind of more of a gold or brass, since these would be some of the elite cavalry units, and that they would try to have the best armor that they would have been able to loot or have available to them. So super happy with how this turned out. It'd be super fun to play with these guys. Last but not least, I want to cover, so I needed an initial enemy. I'm going to do the Huns. We're going to do the Goths, Vandals, things of that nature. So I wanted to cover it. I mean, this was kind of hard to come by. I don't think Italeri makes some of their late Roman range anymore, but I knew I needed to get. I found these on eBay. It was like one of the last ones I saw. It was a fair price, so it wasn't too expensive. But so yeah, I definitely wanted some Goths, as they were pretty pivotal to the fall of the Roman Empire and the sacking of Rome in like the 3rd century or whatever it was. So yeah, there's the Goth kit. This is kind of where I'm comparing some of the hat stuff, but to be honest, I'm just collecting different models in different ranges. I'll probably head to Etsy and get some models there as well for some of the generals to get more, you know, detailed 3D printed, but still 1/72 scale. So similar to the sprue here, but this is a full sprue. Horses with, you know, very different poses, shields that you attach to the arms as they drop it. But yeah, nice models. Comes with javelins. I mean, this is still soft plastic, but I think it's a little bit harder than what hat offers, and relatively in the same price range. Okay, so here, just a basic squad of 6. This would be classified. So the Cataphracts would be elite cavalry. These are heavy cavalry because they're not as heavily armored as the elites would be. But I just went with a pretty common theme. This is a skirmish game, so I want, you know, all the units in one, all the models in one unit to have similar shields. So I just went with like a very cool green and white scheme. But yeah, these would be Goth nobles. And yeah, they'd be part of the first. There's just one unit I painted up. These are very nice sculpts by Italeri. Yeah, there's not much more to say about that. I mean, you can see for yourself. I don't spend too much time on the detail on these. 1/72, I kind of just painted up the horse in a color. I just wanted to have a little juxtaposition between the Romans and the Goths, so I just threw in more blues and greens, and yeah, just mixed up the colors as much because they would not have as much of a universal, you know, warband or army or tribe color. So There are the Goths, ready to fight the Romans on the table. Guys, this is Joshua 6 Tabletop. I hope you guys got something out of this as I'm starting my 172 scale Roman project. It's been a lot of fun. The nice thing about this scale is it's not expensive, all in for the materials and stuff, It's the cost of a couple 28 millimeter kits or a couple metal products from different manufacturers and stuff. I know this is a little bit long-winded, but I hope you guys got something out of it. Thanks for the support. Thanks again for Hat for sending some of these products for free. I did pay for the Italeri models in comparison to the hats, but either way, it's no problem. I'm gonna collect them anyway. Like I said, from different manufacturers, just to have a nice variety. This is Joshua 6 of Tabletop. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you